Thank you.
All right. It looks like we are live. It looks like the sound is working. Y'all let us know in the comments if it is not. These mics have been giving us some issues. Let me just make sure. All right, looks like we live. In the comments, if there we go.
Sounding good.
Sweet. All right. All right, cool. What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. Just gonna make sure that can you see the boom.
Oh,
What's going on, you guys? Merry Christmas. Yeah, I can see it.
oh, okay.
Merry Christmas, you guys. This is the first We Trippin' live wrap up.
Yeah.
These are usually attached to the end of our We Trippin' episodes, but we decided just to try it out. You know, it's the end of the year. We want to see if we could just separate it into its own thing. And then that way, you know, we gave some time for you guys to watch it, for you guys to enjoy the Christmas special. And then we're going to just talk about what we usually talk about in the wrap up. We're going to go over the stuff that we liked, stuff that we didn't like, the food, the activities, our skin tuition. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you guys got a chance to check out the Christmas special, we want to hear from you guys in the comments. And yeah, if this goes well, we'll just keep doing it like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of you guys like this segment anyway. So instead of just completely taking it away, I thought, this would be a good idea to do this live. So,
Yeah.
And then we could talk to y'all while we do it. So if y'all have questions and stuff, make sure you're in the live chat and you ask whatever you need to ask or say whatever you need to say in there because we will be checking it real time.
Exactly. So, and that also gives some extra time for, in We Trippin' to see more of the actual trip instead of, just hearing us yap about it. But
Right.
now we can just yap about it on the side. So we appreciate y'all for pulling up. This was probably one of my favorite episodes. I think that Branson, to me, is exactly what I envisioned We Trippin'. When we first started it, we were kind of like going over what this show should be about, and instead of just being a vlog in all of these cities that people typically visit, we were basically saying like, what if we found hidden gems? If we went to places that people wouldn't really expect us to go, and just from like a serial point of view in terms of looking at it as a series,
Yeah.
I love travel shows. I've come up studying travel shows, and a lot of these hosts go to the same places,
Yeah.
So the fact that our lineup, and if you were to look at our show as a series, there's a lot of cities like this that pop up that you're just like, where is this?
Yeah, because I think you selected this place. I didn't even
Yeah.
know where we were going. So when I found out Branson, I'm like, okay, this is new. This is something that I've never even heard of the city. So the fact
Yeah.
that it was so much to do and we had such a good time. This is one of my favorite episodes too. I really feel like we made the most of a city that doesn't get too much shine.
Exactly. Yeah, and I wouldn't recommend this city as like a surprise for people. It's tough to spring on somebody, but I would definitely recommend this trip if you're like a Christmas nut.
Definitely.
I've never been to. That was my first time in Missouri. I don't know if I had been to St. Louis at that point. But yeah, like I remember I was just looking up interesting things to do in America around Christmas times. And it wasn't like this was like if you're in the area, come through. Like this was like
Right.
very awarded, like Travel Channel, this one like America's top Christmas event, like 8 years in a row. It was very, very like held in high regard. So the city, I had never really heard of, but I feel like just basing the trip around that, I felt like we could find the other fun, But
Yeah.
that was like the main event.
Yeah, because I mean, we at this point we do this. If you guys have been watching We Trippin' for a while, you see that we go to smaller cities like Jackson Hole and
Right.
a few others that we've gone to that people haven't really heard of. Boulder, Utah. So we've done a good job, I think, with making the most of small towns. And I think this one was just it was. I didn't expect to see everything that we saw. So it was a
Yeah.
huge surprise.
The only thing that would have made the trip better would be if it snowed. I think that Branson is one of those cities that like it feels like the seasons really happen there.
For
So
sure.
I don't know if it just typically doesn't snow in that part of Missouri or if we were just in that awkward part of winter in between snow and fall because it's like fall is gorgeous in a lot of areas. You know, you have
Right.
the foliage and everything, but then when the leaves fall off, it gets a little spooky. You know, it's kind of Ichabod Crane-ish, Sleepy Hollow-ish, and then when the snow comes, everything is pretty again. So
Yeah.
if this had been, you know, a snowy time of the year, I feel like the photography would have even been better, you know, in the drone shots and even the park itself because it was insanely cold the entire trip.
Yes, it was
But it
freezing.
just so it might as well have been snowing, you know. But you know, other than that, I feel like that was the only thing because it was a little. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little What's the word? Dilapidated.
Dilapidated.
It was a little dilapidated. Um,
I don't know. I really enjoyed it so much to where I mean, it was just so different than what I'm used to.
yeah.
So even though, there was some blank spots, I still felt like it was just so different. I was just like, okay, what's all this? So I really, really enjoyed my
It
time
was
there.
fun. It was definitely fun. It was actually I was we were talking about it earlier. It reminded me of the Niagara Falls episode, you know, because we went out to Niagara Falls specifically for the falls and in the back of my mind I was like, could this be a full episode though? Like I don't know if people just want to see us looking at this giant waterfall. And I felt the same about Branson. I was like, okay, if there's a bunch of lights, that might be cool, but is there other things for us to do?
Right.
That's crazy. I just saw a firework. But it was like this. It was so activity heavy, and we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, it was just a very like action packed episode, and thankfully, you know, we found the strip, which had a whole bunch of stuff on it. You know, obviously we had Silver Dollar City, and the even the hotel like. It was in a weird part of town, you know, a lot of construction, a lot of fog,
Yeah.
very spooky.
Yeah. I enjoyed it to the point where it was just like it felt like we were staying in an old haunted mansion. A lot of wood everywhere, just kind of like creaky.
Right.
Oh, but at the same time, it was so pretty, and then our view was gorgeous. Even though the lake had a little fog
It
over
was
it, kind of
yeah.
it gave spooky vibes, but at the same time cozy. I don't even know how to put those two together, but spooky cozy.
It contrasted with the Christmas spirit really well. It was like a mix between Halloween and Christmas. You know, I was in the post production. You know, a lot of the Salem shots and a lot of the Branson shots, I couldn't tell which one was which. But I did have fun. You know, flying over that foggy lake and by all the cranes and stuff like that. Like that was very cool. But even when I was up there, I was just like, ooh. This is very industrial.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, we want to talk about the good stuff. We're gonna go into all of the food that we liked, all of the food that we didn't like, of course, all of the activities like Silver Dollar, our skin tuition, and all of that. Quick shout out to everybody who pulled up in the chat. We see you, Nate, Sour, Son, Dylan, Olay, Mac. Sorry, I'm trying to like
Good to see
abbreviate
y'all.
y'all names.
Yeah.
PB, Orange. What's
Sun
going on,
Shroom.
everybody? Hopefully, everybody had a chance to check it out, and if not, throw it on while we're talking, after we talking. It's a Christmas special. It's gonna be there forever. Shout out to everybody who pulled up. The numbers are doing pretty good. We just passed 10K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
shout
yeah,
out Orange Moon. Yes, definitely comfy goth. That is a way to describe it.
comfy goth.
Comfy goth, yes. What's up, Bush and Olay? Thank you guys so much for pulling up. So I think we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, let's get
And
into it. Let's get into the
yeah,
food.
the food.
Um, wasn't a huge food city. I think we ended up going to a lot of like chain restaurants. We didn't really have a lot of insight. Looking back, I feel like we could have maybe had some system where we were looking up threads or just reaching out to people in Missouri for more of the mom and pop scene.
Right.
But we ended up trying like a lot of a lot of like chain restaurants that were chain restaurants. You guys know what I mean? Like chain restaurants
Well,
are for
chain
the
the
most parts
Cheddar's is a chain, right?
bland,
Uh huh.
not the best, not the worst.
Yeah.
But just starting from the beginning, the first place we went to, which technically wasn't Branson, it was Springfield, was probably one of the better ones. This was downtown Springfield. This was like our first like glimpse of everything.
Mhm.
And we had just driven from the airport, and it was some interesting scenery on the way. It was very industrial,
Mhm.
very winter, and it was like our first. It was very bleak.
It was just kind of like, I wonder what our time is gonna look like here,
Right, that
cause
first airport
yeah.
drive, because I remember when we first got to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the drive from the airport was like such. It was like such a new world because Jackson Hole was like in between all of those mountain ranges,
Mhm.
and it was snowing heavily as soon as we got there. So that
Mhm.
airport drive was very memorable, and that was like, holy crap, where are we? This airport drive was kind of the opposite. It was just like, damn, I don't know what this is about to be like.
Mhm.
But we came across downtown Springfield. We found this place. It was just like in a street filled with buildings that were made of bricks,
Mhm.
and it was almost like that silver. I don't know. If most people aren't from California, but it was like this Silver Lake type of area,
Mhm.
very hipstery. Everything
Mhm.
was very made of like brick, and I forget the aesthetic, rustic maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Um,
rustic.
but yeah, we found this place called Black Sheep. Very, very chill vibes, very Silver Lakey.
Mhm.
And that was like one of the better ones. I remember the menu being
Yeah.
very interesting. The menu said drinks with a J. It was
Mhm.
serving like adult milkshakes. Um,
It was definitely the best for me.
yeah,
I think I had the ugly burger.
the ugly cheeseburger.
Oh,
Yep.
but it was so good. It was so tasty. And I love burgers. For y'all that don't know, burgers are my favorite food. So whenever I do go somewhere, I try to have at least one burger
Mhm.
on that trip. And that one, they did not disappoint.
The ugly cheeseburger was probably the best thing that we ordered.
Mm-hmm.
I had what the doctor ordered, which was kind of like it was like a slow cooked burger, but it was like marinated in Dr. Pepper for 12 hours.
Mm.
Honestly, if we weren't filming, I would have never tried it. That sounds awful, but
It
I was like,
does.
we filming, like, let me get something that's interesting, and it was okay.
Uh-huh.
I probably wouldn't recommend it. I was just kind of like, they have this,
Mm.
um, but yeah, I don't feel like soda is a good,
No, and food
it's a
for
good
this
base.
trip, I feel like wasn't front and center for us because there were so many things to do. So I think, yeah, starting out, that was kind of the highlight of the food adventure for me is
Mhm.
Black Sheep.
Yeah, we had a little adult milkshake vibes, with the Elvis, which was
Hmm.
pretty much a shake that I get all the time in LA, which is peanut butter and banana, but they threw some rum in there. But that ended up, yeah, that place was delicious. And everywhere else was kind of just like, I'm not going to lie, everywhere else was a little regular.
Hmm.
Like I said, there were chain restaurants. We tried Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, which when I saw Scratch Kitchen, I was like, oh, this is like
Yeah,
homemade
they
type
doing
of
it from
stuff.
scratch.
And we talked to the owners, and apparently it was like, I think it's like a sister company of Olive Garden.
Hmm.
So that's pretty much like the quality of food.
Hmm.
And you had
The ribs was cool.
ribs, prawns, all that stuff. Honestly, I could tell, especially like doing this show so much, every time we've had ribs, you can tell by the bite how good the ribs were. Like if the bite is like you bite into it and it's like all pink on the inside and there's just like weird shaped chunks left on the
Hmm.
bone, you could tell it's not that great. But the really good ones that are like
The
soaked in
tendonism.
season, yep, fall off the bone. Those are the ones that you're like, okay, that was probably really really good.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, somebody said Cheddar's is trash. That's crazy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I never heard of it, so that was kind of like our first time. That's another thing about traveling is sometimes you just have regular stuff, but it's new to you. Even
Yeah.
if it's not necessarily like a hometown classic spot, it could be like a chain restaurant that you've never been to. Like if I go to the South, I'm gonna eat at what's that place called? Bucky's, that gas station.
Oh,
Is it called Bucky's?
I don't think
There are certain
so.
gas stations. You guys, correct me if I'm wrong. There's like certain
It's
gas stations that I always hear like comedians talk about that tour, and
They have good food at those
really,
gas
really good
stations.
food, like buffet style. And in LA, that sounds crazy because we don't really eat at gas stations, but um, especially just going to other cultures, like in Japan, 7-Eleven
Somebody
food
say
is
yes,
great.
it is Bucky's.
Yep, Bucky's. Yes, I
What
want
am
to
I
try
thinking of?
Bucky's.
I'm thinking, uh, hmm.
I'm not sure, but yeah, just like I like trying even regular stuff. And I know that nobody should travel to eat at a gas station, but that's just, I mean, if when in Rome, I want to see what that's like. You said Cheddar's is an off-brand Applebee's. Yeah, exactly. So it's a sister company of Olive Garden. That's what they were saying. The dude said that he was making it seem like he knew the owner. I don't know if that was true or not, but
Right.
um, yeah, that place was
Quick Trip is
okay.
what I was thinking of.
Quick Trip, okay.
Uh-huh. But Bucky's, yeah, that's all on.
Um, I don't know. We kept rolling the dice with food this whole trip. Like I don't know why we kept going for like ribs and beans and sausage.
Because in the Midwest, I feel like that's kind of big down
Yeah,
there, you
that's
know?
true. Like St. Louis is really known for they dry rub and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I don't think we went to the right spots though. Nothing, no restaurant that we went to screamed like home cooked meal or like authentic barbecue.
Wawa.
Another gas station?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you were thinking of?
Yeah, and I just saw somebody say it in the comment section.
Oh, okay.
Wawas. Yeah.
Nope, never. I've never been to any of that. So yeah, our food palates are definitely LA. If I went to any of those
Yeah.
places, I'm gonna eat at these gas stations like they Michelin star restaurants. I'm just
We
gonna.
starting to find that our gas station's kind of boo boo out here.
I just want to see what it's
Like,
like. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine with eating there if the quality is alright. But
yeah.
in terms of Branson, we were just kind of like going with the flow.
Yeah.
We ate a lot on that strip just because that's where a lot of the activities were.
Hmm.
But yeah, we just kept trying to make ribs work, and it didn't really work. Even at Silver Dollar City, we went to a smokehouse
Hmm.
that was.
That was atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell even in our I'm not even gonna lie. Now that this is wrap up is separate from the actual episode, you could tell from our voiceovers. Like even when we're trying to be nice and we're just like, it was okay. You could tell by the bite. You could tell by our reaction. You could tell by if we're not really giving it praise in the VO. It
Hmm.
wasn't great, and the Silver Dollar Smokehouse was definitely not
Yeah,
great.
it just did what it needed to do. It just put a little fuel in our system for the rest of the night. But outside of it being spectacular, quite the opposite.
I don't know if this is. How do you say your name? Garrick? Is it Jarrick? I've never seen this name. Gerick. Yeah. What's up? He said the hot links we had looked good. Um,
Mm,
at the most, they were probably okay.
yeah, and we were really hungry
If we
too.
didn't mention it, yeah, because we were walking around a lot. But
Yeah. And
yeah,
it was around closing time. So I feel like we were kind of getting the last
right.
of what was going on. So I think that maybe if we went earlier in the day and it was a bit fresher, we'd had a different experience. But just from what we ate, yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But they're good for the lights.
I think that I think that if we're doing these lives, we might just ask you guys. I think that one thing that I want to add to We Trippin' is to really get some actual local reviews and just find out where to go before we even leave. So maybe in one of these lives we'll tell you what our next trip is, and see. Just because we're working really closely with someone who's from Missouri, so we definitely could have asked her more
Mm-hmm.
about where to eat and everything. But for the most part, I think I would give the overall food for Branson like a 5.
Yep. I was thinking 6. I was giving it a little bone.
Especially since Black Sheep wasn't
Hmm.
in Branson.
Right.
It was just on the,
Okay.
but it was very much hit or miss. We had scratch. I forgot about local flavors. We went to that spot, local flavors, and that's where they had mountain oysters, which is bull balls.
Did you
That's
have
when
some?
I no. That's when I knew we were kind of fish out of water. Like we were just.
Rocky
I
Mountain
was like, man, we
oysters.
are in somewhere new. So, that's the spot that we had. Not the chicken pot pie. Here I have it written down.
Have any of y'all in the chat had bull balls? Please let us
The
know.
sack lunch. Yeah, this is where we had the fried green tomatoes, and the grown-up grilled cheese, which had bacon and tomato bisque. That would have probably been my second choice, if not for Black Sheep. But overall, everything was okay.
Right.
5 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So then we went on to activities.
yep. Activities was pretty heavy though.
Mm-hmm.
Activities is definitely up there with some of our best episodes. Front to back, just so much stuff to do. If we were to start from the beginning though, I feel like the drive-through Christmas things was really just a warm up.
Yeah.
If I were to actually cut anything out of the episode, it would probably be that.
Yeah.
Just because it kind of don't hit the same from the car. And if it's all automated and there's not even people working there, it's just gonna be like, you know what? Okay, I'll say what the comparison for me is. It's like it's to me it's like those haunted mazes. There are haunted mazes that are all automated, like machineries that are jumping out on you, but it kind of needs a mix between like that human touch and the automation. It can't just be all the we've seen that in Salem. We've gone through mazes that were all animatronics, and it doesn't really hit the same. You kind of need the human aspect of it.
Yeah, and I also think they were more for the small town folks around because it seemed like very light,
Very
for
chill, like almost like a
yeah,
neighborhood. Like you wouldn't
and
fly somewhere for it.
right, and almost probably because they have Silver Dollar City, maybe they didn't have to do too much around the city. I think it was just
I
something,
mean, I would think it was the
yeah,
opposite. If you had Silver Dollar City there, you'd think that they would kind of go hard on everything else.
yeah,
But I mean, I'm not disappointed. I did it. I did like it. It was
yeah.
very the Christmas cheer was there. They were giving out
Hmm.
hot cocoa, and they
It
had
just
the
wasn't super woo. It
it
was just cool. It was like, hey, look at that.
exactly,
Yeah.
and it took very quick to do. So I mean, I would recommend it if you were going out there for Silver Dollar City, but
Hmm.
it's not. It wasn't necessarily something to fly out to, but it was.
Right.
It's almost it's like driving through a nicely decorated neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, you know, we don't want to stay in the negative if we're talking about Christmas decorations. Silver Dollar City was the one. We did a lot
Definitely.
of crazy stuff out there, but Silver Dollar City was so beautiful.
It was
And
so pretty.
I know we said it in the VO, like 6.4 million Christmas lights. You think that that's an exaggeration, but as soon as you get there, you're like, oh, they really
Hmm.
like made a whole city out of just lights.
And it was just a really cool experience. Not only from the lights, but just seeing how happy people were there. Like it was freezing cold, so people were
Yeah.
dressed so cute in their snow gear. And we even saw a parade. The When we
Mhm.
first got there, we saw the parade. So it was just really, it was a really positive experience. It was really fun. It was really like cool. The lights were everything. They really put a lot of effort into Silver Dollar City. That
Yeah.
was a lot of lights.
Yeah, it seemed like it could have been like a decent theme park, year round, but just that Christmas element of it, it almost reminded me of like the western part of Disneyland or something like that.
Hmm.
Everything looked very old school. There was just like shops of like treats and pies and cookies
Hmm.
everywhere. But yeah, it was just so pretty. My favorite part was probably that entrance that said "Merry Christmas" with the angels, and
Hmm.
it seemed like that's where they put the most amount of like lights and shops and everything
Hmm.
just all in one, and it was just like, man, it's like as soon as you walk in, you're like, all right, this was worth
Yeah,
it.
it was so good. So I think that was our main reason why we were there. But we did so many other things. Like we took a helicopter ride, and that was insane.
The helicopter ride was really fun. I guess my travel tip would be like, a I personally that was my second helicopter ride at night. Actually, my first helicopter ride I've ever taken was at night. It was above Vegas, for a show that I did a couple years ago, and it was like it's really pretty, but it doesn't always photograph the best,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like, I don't know, like between just being up there at night. and not being able to really see,
Mm.
I would just recommend doing all your helicopter stuff during the daytime. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that was my first time doing it at night, but I enjoyed the scenery. It made it a little scarier because it was so dark.
It's creepy,
Being
yeah.
up there, it was like, oh, it was a little intimidating. But then we saw Silver Dollar City
Ah,
from
yeah.
the helicopter,
So
and
cool.
yeah, our footage doesn't do it justice from above, but you had to be there. You had to be there
Yeah.
because it was like, just imagine pitch black and then lights just bright up the whole, like,
Right.
your whole view, and so you're like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the helicopter ride. Like, kind of like you said, I probably wouldn't do a nighttime helicopter ride again unless it was over somewhere like Las Vegas, where the
Just
entire city
insane
is
amounts
just,
of lights.
yeah.
Yeah, and as much as I enjoyed it, the since we, our point of being out there was to film everything and show the people. One thing I was really upset about is like the the company that did the helicopter, like you pay extra for their footage and their footage sucked. Like
It
it
was
was like
horrible.
all we had you could see the one or two clips that we used that has their watermark. It's just the takeoff and the landing because you can't see anything.
Yeah,
So make sure
that
you
was
guys,
disappointing.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you guys end up doing like a nighttime helicopter thing, um, make sure you see an example of what their cameras can do, or before doing
especially
all
at
that.
nighttime. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mainly at nighttime. More than likely, they'll have good footage during the daytime. But just take a quick look at what they have to offer before you pay for it. Because yeah, it seemed like if they offered night tours, they would have their camera stuff together. So I mean, that's kind of random, but I just wanted to share that. Other activities, we went mini golfing,
Oh.
and that was a lot of fun. That course was really cool. It was very very cold, so we got to be out there on our own. Of course, I whooped feet.
First off,
I
it
was
was cold.
whooping.
It was cold. I wasn't used to being out there like that. Secondly, it was interesting that all of the holes were LA stuff.
Yeah,
So it was like it was giving us a taste of
the
home.
Beverly Hills Hotel. There was like a Santa Monica Beach one.
Mhm.
Capitol Records. They had the Grand
Mhm.
Chinese Theater, Hollywood Bowl. It was like
Mhm.
very much like the road to being a movie star,
Mhm.
which was a very cool theme. Usually mini golf has a lot of times places nail it with the themes in mini golf, and this is one of those spots. That was
Mhm.
definitely. I mean, the strip in Branson is really where it's at. I feel like
Mhm.
if we were to recommend this trip, we would literally recommend exactly how we did it.
Yeah.
Go out there Christmas time for Silver Dollar City. But since you can probably do that in one night and you won't have to go during the day, you don't have to go back.
Mhm.
Spend time on the strip. We did the VR games, which was an insane amount of fun. We didn't even really scratch the surface over there.
No, we
The
didn't.
mirror maze, even though we did that
Oh.
really really quick, they offered stuff. It was called the Castle of Chaos, so they did offer other stuff, but we were kind of like speed running it.
Mhm. Because I
um,
think we were there when it was when it was close to closing.
hmm,
So yeah, we had to get in and out. That
yeah.
was really fun. I didn't expect it reminded me a little bit of Niagara Falls because
Hmm.
they had that little strip of games and stuff like that as well. I think we went to a mirror maze
Yeah.
in Niagara as well. So it was really cool just to see that they had these other type of like games, and it almost like at times felt like you were at a carnival a little bit, just
Yeah.
from some of the buildings. And then we went to the Titanic Museum.
Yes, yes, the
Titanic
Titanic
Museum was
Museum.
awesome.
And what's crazy about that is I've recently, this we went back in 2023. This was a while ago. Um, and yeah, the Titanic Museum, that same one is going viral right now on other pages, and I never really seen it until then. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's like it's an interactive Titanic museum that my brother's obsessed with Titanic. He made me watch it when we were kids a lot, and we went to a couple museums, and it's just like most museums, kind of boring, very factual. But this one was like Titanic in a whole new way. First of all, they like recreated it, almost every room for us. But then there was just like a lot of like interactive games. Like they gave us back the
Yeah, we
backstories.
each had a backstory, and then by the
Yeah.
end, we got to find out like
If
if
we
we
survived,
survived it or not.
we could touch the ice. We touched
Mhm.
how cold the water was.
Mhm.
There was like all types of stuff that you could see what it was like at night. You could see what it was
Mhm.
like when it was sinking and if you can hang on or
Mhm.
not. It was weird. Like they
It
made it a little too fun.
it was fun. It gave you more of an idea of what those people experienced
Hmm.
in that crash, and honestly, keeping your finger in that water for longer than 10 seconds was
Yep.
like crazy. It was insane. So it kind of just helped you understand more so, even though you may have seen the movie, just from a realer perspective
Hmm.
of what it would have taken to survive something as tragic as that. And
Sure.
so it was eye opening for me. I had never been to a Titanic museum before,
Hmm.
so it was really like a whole nother world, and it was big. Like
Yeah, it
it
took a
was,
minute to get through.
it
It
was
took a minute to get
big.
through, and honestly, I would probably give my activity of the trip to that.
Hmm.
Aside from Silver Dollar City, I feel
Right.
like the reason why we went out there was Silver Dollar City, but it's just cool how many like activities we could have based the trip around.
Right.
Like there was a lot of stuff going on. I would definitely say Titanic was second place.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Agreed.
And then aside from that, was that pretty much everything? It was really just the strip. There was a lot
Hmm.
of things that we didn't get to see. One of my favorite looking buildings was the giant shiny octopus. I believe that was
Oh
like an
yeah.
aquarium.
Mhm.
There was like a Ripley's over
Mhm.
there. There was a wax museum.
Mhm.
And yeah, one of the things, if you're there with like your family or a bunch of kids, there was a place called Wonderworks that was really cool. It was like an upside
Mhm.
down building, and it had like staircases on the top, and it seemed like a little too kiddie.
Yeah.
But we did get the I don't even know where it is. The
The
comic
picture.
book, the comic
Oh.
book of us. We got to pick like a Doctor Strange and make like a comic book. It was like actually official Marvel too.
Mhm.
So it felt like there was just like stuff for everybody in
Mhm.
there. So
Definitely.
I think that the activities were heavy. I would probably give the activities a good 8 out of 10,
Me too.
maybe an 8.5.
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy coming from LA, because in LA you think like, oh, there's so much to do, there's so many places to go, in which there is if you're visiting. But once you get used to it, it's kind of like, okay, everything is everything. But then when you fly to another city, even if it's a small city like Branson, we're tourists, so we're outside. We're
Yeah,
outside trying to see what all Branson has to offer. So I feel like we touched on a lot,
yeah,
and still not being able to get, because we were there a few days. It wasn't like a 1 day trip.
yeah,
So to be there a few days and still not get through all the activities that they had to offer lets us know, like, okay, they really put some effort into making sure people have a good time when they go.
yeah. It reminded me of Park City, which we ended up not releasing because we went out there a little prematurely.
Hmm.
Like we went out there for the Christmas season, and even the workers out there was just like, yeah, I mean, it's usually more busy out here,
Yeah.
but it didn't snow, so it's not
Right.
as Christmassy as we're used to. And I don't
Right.
know if that's because of climate change or whatever it is, but it seems
Right.
like I don't know. Everywhere we've been for Christmas, it's like the snowy season hasn't happened yet. So
Yeah, it seems like and you would think, because we're going, mid late December, that there would be more, but it seems like the snow kind of picks up in like mid January
yeah,
to February, and then lightens up like late February.
right.
So, um, look forward to us doing some more snowtivities,
Mm-hmm.
because we've learned our lesson. That's why we're here in LA right now.
Exactly, exactly. And I guess besides that, the only activity we haven't really covered is the cheeky monkey, which was probably just I don't know. We were really just like on some like let's do everything when we were out there because Yeah, we were just on the strip, just like, all right, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? You know, we went from, museum to mini golf to a helicopter, and you would think that we'd be like, all right, we done, but we just stopped by at this very, very peculiar looking sports bar. You know what? I think it was like a thing where I searched, because obviously Steph was driving. I was searching for like
Fingerprints.
places that were open, that served food, and this place
Pulled
had
into the dirt parking lot.
it had a really high rating, and it was called the Cheeky Monkey, and it was serving late. And we went in, and it was like it looked like a truck stop, like it was just a bunch of pickup trucks in front. I had the Budweiser signs out front, and I remember you thinking just like, hell no, like we're not
Oh
doing this.
man.
And I was like, man, let's go. We was super spontaneous mode. Um,
My skin tuition was, like I said, bubbling. Like
yeah,
I felt like, okay, what are we getting ourselves into? And it's nighttime.
yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's the Midwest. They might be cool with us. They might not. I don't know. But when we walked in, sometimes when you walk into a place, you feel like you hear the record scratch.
It definitely felt that way. It definitely felt that way.
It
But one thing I learned on We Trippin', and just dealing with white people in period, just in general, when we went to places like Wyoming and Idaho and Maine, we went to a lot of places that in our minds were like, man, is there any black people here? And a lot of times there wasn't. And I found one of three things. Number one is like super accepting, almost like overly accepting.
Yeah.
Like we don't hate black people here at all, and we're gonna show you by doing a lot.
Yeah.
And that's weird, but it's not unsafe, you know?
Right.
And you can kind of pick up on that right away. As long as it's not like Get Out vibes, it's just like, oh, okay, they're kind of happy to see us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's two forms of like racist vibes, you know? One is like, oh shit, like we don't fuck with black people like that, and we're just gonna do the whole like stare, it's like
Intimidation
a
tactic.
not even intimidation, just like looking and maybe just like keeping that to themselves, but still uncomfortable. Then there's like the dangerous, which we luckily haven't really experienced too much, but like the dangerous thing that's like what's it called? Sundown Town and all that stuff. Like those, we definitely felt those vibes too.
In Maryland.
But that, and even in Yellowstone, and that was like, something might happen, like I might go to the trunk type of thing. Those are probably like the easiest vibes to pick up on. And I knew that like I was like, okay, we've been in Branson for a while now, and I haven't really, at the most it might have been like the uncomfortable type of racism. And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? As long as they're not trying to put something in our drinks or do something weird.
Well, you wasn't sure when we
We
walked
weren't
in because they gave us shots when we walked in.
Yeah.
And I drank the shot. Pat didn't.
Which is crazy. I forgot that you did that. That's crazy. Like as much as we talk about this, and her saying my skin tuition, and we were really on point. She immediately drank a shot that was given to her, and she didn't see poured. So I wouldn't recommend that. We definitely didn't put that in the episode. But yeah, I was like, are you out of your mind?
Right.
And
then
she's a woman. So it's just like, what?
I was with you. You got it.
Okay, but what if I got spiked?
You didn't drink the shot.
Definitely wouldn't recommend that. I'm not even sure why you brought that up. I would have lied. But yeah.
Okay. I listen. I was trying to be. I was being festive. So one of us took the shot, the other didn't. So,
Absolutely not. And then right after that, somebody brought us like a loose quesadilla.
Yeah, they was like, "Do you want some of my food?"
They're like,
And
"You
I
want
was
some
like,
food?" We were like, "No."
And then they gave us the food. They gave us the quesadilla and was like, "Here, take this. Here, take this. Take this." And so I took it and I just set it on the table. And I don't know if you walked away or whatnot, but when they came back and they saw us still sitting there, they were like, "Oh man, no, it's not like that. I know what it looks like. All these white people coming up to you, giving you food, like."
Yeah, we
Like, "Oh, I
weren't
can see
weird,
why."
but we weren't taking. Well, I mean, you were, but we weren't like taking the pill in terms of like, oh, free shots, free quesadillas. Like we were just like, oh my god, thank you, and then we set it to the side. So
But
the
they were watching us. That was kind of odd that they watched to see if we ate the food.
yeah. So
And when we didn't, they came back with a follow up, like, "Oh yeah, that was weird." No,
yeah, so that place was a little strange, but I feel like we were kind of just on a high of fun places to go, and I don't know why. Honestly, looking back at the footage, especially like the shot of us pulling up, I'm like, why the heck did I even want to go in there? But I'm glad we did. It was
it
fun. It
was
was like, even
really
though it was
fun.
weird, like it's you just got to know what you can put up with. If you don't even want to deal with it, I would have driven past that. But if you're like, man, I'm looking for a cool little adventure, as long as it's safe and as
Hmm.
long as you're smart.
Yeah, we ended up getting lots of laughs. What was his name? The Neon Man.
Neon Man, yeah, it was
The
just like
music was good. It
dancing.
was fun.
People were asking us to dance, and that was just like a really fun trip. That was
Hmm.
a fun ending to a random trip.
Right.
You said that's how Get Out started. No, for sure. Little Southern hospitality. Is Missouri wouldn't be considered Southern
Oh,
hospitality?
so they hate when you don't eat. That makes sense. That makes sense. But we had just gotten there, and so we
That
we
ain't the
were gonna
South
order.
though.
It's Midwest. Maybe there's some Southern influence.
Mm.
I think there. It was all in all. I don't think that there was anything malicious behind it, and they were, you
Tree in
just.
my hair.
Oh yeah. Um. Yeah, I think all in all, it wasn't malicious because throughout the night they were just partying, having fun. It was probably a drunk gesture,
Yeah.
here, eat this food. And then they realized that it was weird and they was like, oh my God, like, please forgive us. It's not, we know what you must be thinking. So they recognized it. And I think that all in all, it was just cool to experience. It gave us
Yeah.
something to talk about and to laugh at. So,
Yeah, I mean, like in retrospect, that was a long time ago.
hmm.
We've traveled a lot since then, so I probably would have done some things different because I feel like back then I was thinking of things as like obvious or not obvious. Feel it out, look around. If things seem good, you're good. If
Hmm.
things are off, you're off. But I don't know. I feel in the last few travels, I've kind of had my eyes open to potentially like weird Get Out
Hmm.
style things where everybody's sort of like running a play,
Hmm.
potentially like running a what's it called? Uh, it's like a I don't know. It's like a inside job type of thing where everybody's conspiring it's not
Hmm.
that's the type of paranoia I'm on now. Like now I feel like if I went into that same bar, especially after the shots and the food, I
Hmm.
would be looking like are these regulars working with the blah 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 blah? I don't
We're gonna
know.
make it out of here. I
Right.
think I think we haven't done as much traveling with the new administration that we have, and so I've seen like a lot more, unrest in like smaller cities and stuff like that. So we have our skin tuition. I think has kept us safe from traveling to a lot of places
Right.
that maybe may have a little bit of unrest,
Mhm.
a little civil unrest,
Yeah, and especially
or
if we out there like just us and not
yeah.
really knowing, it's good to just avoid the areas that you're even like questionable about.
Mhm.
And I would say the same about LA, like I would hate for somebody to come through to LA and not really have a guide and just hear about what they heard about on the internet and be like, "Oh, let's go to Roscoe's," and they go to the
Right.
wrong one.
Oof.
They go to one of them dangerous ass ones.
Manchester.
Exactly. So it's definitely a learning experience, but we
Yeah.
rolled the dice and it ended up being pretty chill. We met the Neon Man. He said, talk about there was nothing really to talk about the Neon Light Man PB.
Oh.
It was just this dude who was very into neon. Who wanted us to take photos with him, and he was the drummer. I think he was the band leader,
He was
and he had
really
a show
cool.
that night. And we listened for a little bit, and we got up out of there.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall, Branson was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I would definitely recommend going here for the Festival of Lights.
Definitely.
Um, you could probably do
Silver Dollar City,
you
right?
could probably do it in a weekend. You could actually
Mhm.
probably pair this trip with another city. Like if you wanted to see St. Louis or something or else
Right.
around there, you could probably stay in Branson for like a day or two, maybe hit the Strip one night, hit Silver Dollar. Because we were at Silver Dollar for maybe like 4 or 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. And
And, you know,
we got through it. I feel
it's
like we
not a
got
lot
through
of
everything.
rides. It's not a lot of actual activities. It's really the activity is the parades and the
Mm-hmm.
lights itself. So you could probably, be in and out of there. But
Mm-hmm.
make it a time. Make it a time. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't go close to Christmas because the whole point of going out there is just looking at the lights. I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything happening like on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So going early December would definitely be the move that I would recommend.
Yeah, so pay attention to when they open, when the park opens, and coordinate your trip around that. We actually ended up pairing this trip with another trip. We went to Spokane right after this, I
Oh, that's
believe.
right for New Year's.
So we haven't come out with Spokane yet, but that's
Hmm.
another small city that has some surprises.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed Branson, the Christmas special. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and turn it on right now. It's really really fun and it's really quick. It's only 45 minutes ish. And yeah, if you guys enjoy kind of pulling up for these wrap ups, I do like it separate and I do like it live because it
Mm-hmm.
kind of gives us time to really talk about everything. When it was a part of the show, we kind of had to fly through it. But I like the back and forth. I like kind of being able to expand on everything, and I like giving the entire hour to the actual place that we traveled instead of trying to fit it in with the wrap up. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let us know if in the comments and in the chat if you guys enjoy these wrap ups. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're gonna try for 2026 to have to drop more We Trippins. We still have so many
We
in
do.
the tank, and
Mm-hmm.
we think right now we're dropping probably every 3 months, but we would like to get it to a point where it's way more consistent. And we did have a meeting today where we're figuring that Greece and Hawaii is gonna drop this year,
Yep.
and that's a pretty big deal. Greece is probably our biggest trip,
Yep.
and Hawaii is a 4-part series with different islands and just really, really amazing
Very
visuals.
cool things. I was looking at some of the comments, and Bush said some whites are just nice, bro. Yes, they are. That's for the most part what we've experienced when
Yeah,
we've gone places is nice white people. To be honest with
that's
you,
all we've
like
seen, really.
yeah. So, but we're not gonna act like others don't exist, and
Yeah,
so
that's why we have the
we
skin tuition thing because it's
yeah.
just like, what about our skin tuition was bubbling and were we
Hmm.
wrong? And if you go back and watch other We Trippins, for the most part, we say that everybody was nice.
Yeah, everybody's pretty cool. Um, Please come to Chicago. We stopped in Chicago for a hot second and had some
Yeah,
barbecue and dip.
I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Chicago's food scene. So
Hmm. And so, yeah, I think we might have even put that in our Patreon. That one spot we ate at in Chicago. I
hmm.
think we put it in Patreon in our We Trippin' tier in Patreon. So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, check that out. If you guys aren't on Patreon yet, pull up to our Patreon. We go live every few weeks for our actual podcast. So we have like a 3 hour live, and we bulk shoot our podcast so you guys can get the podcast before it even drops. Um, we have a gaming tier where we play games.
Yep, we're about to play some games right now. We're gonna
Yep,
do
and
some
then
Assassin's Creed.
And then we have our We Trippin' tier, where we post like exclusive trips, some that don't make it to the YouTube page, and then we post some behind the scenes, some raw clips from some of the trips that you've already seen. So it's really a treat, and we're
Yeah,
trying to ramp up more. More posts, so you guys are going to get a lot, much more for the next upcoming years. So pull up
absolutely.
to that.
Yep. So yeah, if you guys again check out We Trippin' Christmas special in Branson. We also dropped
Hmm.
the Silver Dollar experience, the Silver Dollar City experience by itself, and we dropped an extended segment of our mini golf. We had to really cut it
Hmm.
down because we filmed the entire thing. So if you
Hmm.
want to see the extended version, that is on our YouTube as well as Silver Dollar by itself.
And he, like I said, he only won because it was cold. But y'all did see, I don't know if y'all saw that video. Go check out my page where I got a hole in one. Yeah.
The only highlight. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this live wrap up. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday season.
Yeah.
We are going right back into production for our next We Trippin' episode, and we will have more stuff from Branson dropping. Stay on the lookout for. If you don't get a chance to watch the entire episode, stay on the lookout. We will be dropping the Mirror Maze, the Titanic Museum, a lot of that stuff on its own separately as well.
Yeah.
But as always, I have been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
Thank you for pulling up to this live, and I'm gonna end it.
Let me
I
get a little.
gotta
Let me get a little thumbnail flick.
what?
A little thumbnail flick.
What does that mean?
Thumbnail. A picture for the thumbnail.
Oh,
That
all
works.
right.
Bye, y'all.
All right, you guys. Enjoy y'all. What's today? Sunday?